Havenbell 3, EZRAH, Chapter 2, The Grove of Souls. Winter came down into Dinzer's city. When he arrived, Wayne took instant interest. The king of Havenbell, the only one allowed here, spoke to his father in the ancient language. "You still have all of the tears, correct?" "Yes." "What did you teach Winsfeld when he was with you?" "Nothing. We brought him to Fairy Island after your snow trick. Snow won't stop us or the Winsfelds this time." "What are you hiding?" Winter asked. "Duran Alasius lives on through his son, Zephyr Josephera. Your brother-in-law must die. Don't tell Cheyenne about him or she will stop you. He will use the other, Evan's son, Duran Locks, to lure EZRAH into finding and killing you. EZRAH almost knows how to beat the technology, and I have bad news for you, sire." Winter barely tilted his head, and that was enough. "Your daughter is in love with EZRAH, and she just let him escape." "I need someone to go with me to check on the shields and lasers, check on the scepter, and upgrade the defense." "I will go," Wayne announced, but Dinzer looked at him in disgust. "I've upgraded the technology. I just finished my new program," Wayne added. "Nay, you will not go. Give me the program. I will go swiftly and return just as fast. It's easier to leave you here in charge than to let you roam free about the lands in which you would choose to never return. Stay here." But Wayne did not stay there. He found Seeing Tears, and when he found them, he found his princess, the Drake and Feather. And he did leave. In fact, he went on a joyride. Zach walked through the Grove of Souls. He now remembered Cheyenne, and he was not happy about it at all. She disappeared. The king had stolen her and kept her along with the throne. He never brought her back. He kept her for himself. Zach remembered nothing of his underwater encounter with him. The boundaries were erased to him. The grove only restored his memory of her and nothing else, and Nemi and Trillium always kept that secret from him. Zach married Sierra, but now he couldn't remember her face because this was the first time his heart broke for Cheyenne. He didn't remember losing her before. EZRAH flew down frantically and nearly knocked Zach over. "You didn't go, did you?" "Yes, I did." "Damn it! Neither one of us is supposed to be involved in this. We are not the chosen one. The king of Havenbell will waste us both. You're not going to leave Fairy Island." "I want you to waste the king of Havenbell, EZRAH. Do it for me. Be the king and rule all lands. Have everything you've ever wanted, unlike I." "You must not chase Cheyenne. She is where she needs to be. I'm not supposed to kill any Draken's father. I love Cheyenne's daughter, and that whole family wants to kill us, even her." "EZRAH, I wouldn't normally ask you to do this, but I'm going to anyway. I want you to walk through the grove." "Are you serious?" "Just do it. Do it now." He did. When he came out, Zach was waiting. EZRAH didn't look very happy, but neither had anyone who had walked through. Not one. "What did it tell you?" "I can't tell you." "You have to." "No, I don't. You're the last person that needs to know. If I tell you, you'll be in danger as I am now. They want to kill us already." "Yes, I know." "So this girl you love, will she like you better if you're dead and out of the way of the throne? Or would she like you better if you're sitting upon it?" "Father, I know you're angry, but don't give me any ideas. We must stay out of it." "So she'll like you better dead then. We must keep Locks and Alasius apart somehow. We must stop them." "Let the chosen one stop him if he's so great." "You know what pisses me off? Zephyr is almost my equal. He never used to be that strong," EZRAH complained. "No, he's not. You can fly and you're a fairy. He doesn't have shit on you. Do you see a bunch of Drakens running around looking for Zephyr?" Zach asked, and EZRAH chuckled. "No, you're the one they're the most afraid of." "Do you think he would send Drakens in after us?" "Yes, if he can't find us himself." "Do you think the Drakens can get into Fairy Island?" "No, but he can." "Do you think he'll take Mother?" "Is that what the Grove told you?" "No, but if he does, he can get us both with one stone." "You're right. We can't let her die to him." "She won't die. It'll be some kind of trick. We can't chase her, and Autumn won't let them kill her." Are you sure? Are you sure, EZRAH? Aren't you willing to kill her family to be with her, Ezra? You don't want to know. That's my boy. Can you get the eye out of place? Yes, that's easy. It's harder underwater. What's the sixth beam? Zach read Ezra's mind. A door. Use both of the boys for your gain. They can help you get the girl. I also have Zed's necklace, and there has been no king since his death. Duran, Lox, and Sasha had followed Jin around. He stayed in town most of the time, but he finally left, and they followed him to his family way out in the remote woods of Elkstaff. They found the Drake and Feather girl and left with her. They found Xander's children and took all 4 of them. Now Ezra would bargain with them. In the time it took before Ezra heard the news, he began to rule the EZRAH, and all of them listened to him. Against his better judgment, Zach walked through the Grove of Souls one last time. So to the EZRAH feathers are Cheyenne. She has wings underwater, the manta ray wings. Zach Winsfeld, Ezra Winsfeld, Autumn, and her brother, who you haven't met yet. Well, Ezra, because Ezra's a fairy and he has those really, really colorful, his wings are half Josepharian, half feathers, and they're half fairy wings, so they look completely different from everyone else's. And when he's underwater, they look just as awesome. Like they don't look like the regular EZRAH wings. In the last book, in Scepter of Zane, when Winter and Cheyenne go down there, there's a whole bunch of EZRAH, and the EZRAH aren't attacking them. They just won't let them get past them. And Cheyenne's like, take me to Zach Winsfeld. And they all know who that is because he has wings and so does she. So they moved because they were going to bring them both together because they're the same. And Winter's like, no, don't do that. Here, go hide in the boundaries. So now Zach gave Ezra that necklace that belonged to Zed, which summons them. And also, Ezra's really good at those water blades, too. And he has manta ray wings that are he's the only one whose wings look like that underwater. So now he is taken the place of the king of the EZRAH. And Zach just walked through the grove again, which is bad, because we already learned through Duran that the more that you walk through it, the worse you get. When Ezra came to the temple, he opened up 5 Josepharian air fans and threw them at the eye. He got it all wrong. He had beaten these beams several times without anyone being aware of it. He never actually pulled the eye out of place, for the shields would drop and he would blow his cover in a bad way. He knew for a long time, and no one else did, that he could get the eye out at any time, if he so pleased, except for today. He pulled the fans back and tried again. He missed all of them, and there were many more beams, boxes, and protection. It had been changed. It would take him a while to crack this code. He already wanted to see Autumn again, then he was stabbed. Ezra realized Evan was in the temple. He left in a panic and flew, but something dug into his shoulder and pulled him back down to the ground where he was punched in his face. He couldn't use any magic on him. He was punched again until Lox and Elacius showed up. They together stopped his punisher, although invisible, and the attack stopped. I need help, Ezra begged, and lay bleeding from his shoulder and stomach. Zephyr leaned in to look at his wounds, and when he did, he took his 2 advantages. He let some of Ezra's blood drop into a vial, and since Ezra was weak, he read his mind. It told him where the scepter was, as the grove told on to him. Elacius knew a lot of magic, for although he didn't look it, he was an elf as well. He was a wizard, but he was darkness. So, it's funny because Duran, Elacius exits the story, and then I fast forward about 19 years, and then you meet his son, and he's right back on it. Here he comes, and he's starting the same shit, except it's his son, so he never really dies because his son just jumps right back in his place. Ezra was nursed back to health and explained to the others that he would need them to pull the eye after he figured out the new code. He promised Zephyr to make him his top command, but that he alone must own the scepter. You are mistaken, Ezra. I will own the scepter and you will get it for me. Everyone hates me. I must gain the scepter. You will help me. A lot of people like you, Zephyr. Jocelyn loves you. Your parents know you can be good. They taught you right for a reason. Don't be like Duran. You will help me or your drake and feather dies. I have all of them. We collected every one. There are 5 of them. Can you believe it? 5. Drakens have a strong liking to feathers, so it seems. Just like Ortsons seem to have with elves. Like elves seem to have with feathers. I hate feathers, Zephyr stated. I hate you and your mind control, EZRAH told him. I hate you and your wings, Zephyr yelled. If I don't kill you, the king of Havenbell will, EZRAH promised. Drake and feathers, Zephyr hissed, and EZRAH obeyed. He took him to the boundaries. He believed he had figured out the 6th beam. Okay, when EZRAH meets Autumn, when he's down there by the boundaries, Autumn erased his memory. She goes, there's nothing down there, understand? There's nothing down there. So Autumn completely erased the boundaries from EZRAH's mind so that he won't get killed. And then when Zach convinces him to go through the grove tells him it restored his memory and told him that's where the scepter is. So he accidentally undid Autumn's favor. Do you use blades? EZRAH asked. No, Zephyr answered. I'm still a newcomer here. Teach me, Zephyr pressed. Piss off! EZRAH was better now, and he could resist this man. EZRAH ruled the EZRAH now, and he could gain the scepter. You let me see the drake and feathers, and I'll give you the scepter. Nay, you give me the scepter, and you get your girl, and you won't even have to fight the king of Havenbell. I will. Agreed. EZRAH grabbed his blades and shot them into the boundaries, but for some reason, the 6th beam was gone and it surprised him and he misfired, resetting the machine. What? Zephyr gasped. He'd never seen anything like it. Hold on. He pulled all the blades back to him and tried again. There were 10 beams and he easily shot them all off and entered the doorway to the scepter. An EZRAH with wings threw blades at him and he ducked as well as pushed them with his mind. He had left all of his blades at the boundaries. The EZRAH held the scepter of Zane. EZRAH came out frightened, swam to the surface, and left Zephyr alone. The system reset, and Zephyr knew not how to throw blades, let alone beat the boundaries. He retreated and returned to land, wondering what could possibly take EZRAH's mind off of the drake and feathers. What have you done? Cheyenne asked, a trifle upset. EZRAH had almost beaten it. Husband of glory, he would not have beaten it. I made the 6th beam a trap. It's a glitch I made on purpose. You left me for a long time and I missed you so much. I wanted you to like me. My program cannot be beaten. You let an Aztrak who's never been underwater change the program? It wasn't broken, Winter. Why would you change it? It's unbeatable. It was unbeatable. It's not real. It's a distraction. He can walk right through the 6th beam the whole time it was made to scare him. He read her. No, distract him from the real beam. The hidden one is invisible. Even if he was smart enough to know that the 6th beam was false and went through it, the second the 6th beam disappeared, when he was relieved and confident, the 7th beam kills him instantly. You are ridiculous, Cheyenne, but you are clever. He used his powers to sway his fantasies, and he ruled her. He wanted her badly because he wanted to keep her forever and her crazy, beautiful wings. She had impressed him very much, and he needed to vent his fears, and he needed her power as well. Power shuttle on my command, Wayne ordered. Sir, we cannot. Your father will kill you. There's nothing going on right now. There's plenty going on right now. There are 3 EZRAH who have magic that are chasing the scepter, and my program didn't work underwater. I failed. Elacius is up in the mountains holding drake and feathers captive for EZRAH. EZRAH's father walked through the grove twice and is certain his son will become king. He wants our sire dead. He will start a war of the EZRAH as well as a war in the sky. To stop Elacius, we must get his parents and his girl. He will surrender for them. EZRAH Locks, Elacius, and Zach Winsfield are going to keep trying to get the eye. We should wait for Dinzer to return. All we have to do is take the drake and feathers, somehow get the scepter from where it is and hide it down here. Blessed angel! There is a drake and feather who is an EZRAH, correct? Correct. She must give me the scepter to hide, to save all of them. Then we let them go at it. If they go at it, we must kill them. Who do you think you're helping here anyway? Everyone. Power shuttle on my command. Lox wasn't interested in the drake and feathers at all, no matter how rare or beautiful. He did not violate them, and he was a lonesome man. He was interested in one alone. She drove him mad, that beautiful elf Jocelyn. Every moment around her was torture, but he was a very composed Orson like all of them were, and no one but EZRAH could read his mind. He was almost equal to Elacius, but he could disappear. He had plans of his own for the scepter, even though he knew EZRAH should get it instead and battle the wretched Drakens himself. Evan's son wants EZRAH to get it, period. He doesn't want Zephyr. He doesn't really want it, even though he's blood. He's the second prince, but he doesn't want Zephyr. He wants EZRAH to get it because EZRAH's a real badass and stuff, and he wants revenge on the Drakens. Come with me, Duran, Sasha told him. She made a signal, and that meant for them both to disappear together and communicate by mind. They did. Sasha spoke to his mind. Look, Duran, don't get upset. I want Zephyr to have the scepter. Why? I'm your son. I'm the blood prince to the house of Zane. He's special. He's very strong. I can disappear. He has the persuasion more than you do. He can shoot arrows as well as trillium. He is what Duran had always wanted. It's all he ever talked about, how he wanted a child of child. That's not fair. Do you wish for me to join my father and the wizards and fight you both? You'd really be screwed then. I'm not going to be Zephyr's slave. Yes, you will. We all will, but don't worry. I have ideas of my own. He gets the scepter, but I promise you will get Jocelyn. How in the world will you do that? They are deeply in love and I hate it. I want her. Yes, son, I know. It will be my prize to you to stay here and be ruled by Zephyr. But you can't make that happen unless you kill him. I won't kill him. I'll use EZRAH's magic on her. Jack Falconberry had noticed recently that someone had been hiding out around Elkstaff lately. The boys were on a tirade and they had his granddaughter Jocelyn. Zephyr and Jocelyn had managed to hide their partnership from everyone on purpose. They hid it from the council and it worked. Nobody knew that they loved each other, let alone how much. Evan hadn't been seen since he found out he had a son whose name is Duran, who could also disappear. This worried Jack, but Evan came out to be an extraordinary son to him and even worked against his best friend Zach for the sake of the King of Havenbell. Things were uncertain with him again, and he could be a bomb if he wanted to be. Jin's daughter had been stolen along with 4 other Drake and Feathers belonging to Xander, the appointed council member for Drake. So whether it was Evan, Evan's son, or both, or even the mother, Zach was really curious on how to catch the snooper, so he made many elven traps. One day, Jack heard noises on his land. He felt a presence but saw nothing. He followed the noise through the woods silently, at the same time hiding all of his vibration with his mind. He crept, stopped, and crouched behind a tree. He silently drew his bow and waited. He was silent due to his elven nature and invisible because he knew how to mind screw, too. He had placed a very shiny object he had gotten from the fairies and placed it above the trap. It was too magical to resist. He heard a crunch and the trap snapped. The tree flicked upward again, tying the snooper by his ankles and pulling him high into a tree. It hung him upside down and he turned visible. Lucky for the hangman, Jack did not shoot him, and Jack forgot everything about it. In the many summers since Winter killed Madrin and King Zareen to rule Drake, he had completely rebuilt the kingdom. Even though Drake had a shield, he had thousands of laser traps in many places. Some were hidden very well, and the closer you got to his palace, the more there were. In case the eye was ever stolen and the shield dropped, he wanted to make sure any outlander would die before they reached his palace or his family. With the technology he gained from the EZRAH, as well as his and Zin's own creations, they had rebuilt Drake with stone, marble, and glass. There was an aquifer and a water filtration system. He built man-made creeks and fountains that went within and around some of his buildings. He had built Drake into a beautiful masterpiece of a metropolis. With the irrigation system they had built, they were able to grow many crops. Cheyenne and Autumn were the two artists among the four royals, and they designed beautiful gardens and landscaping for the city. They also had beautiful pools and fountains of clean water for the children to play in. Drakens were mighty warriors, and he had built them amazing courtyards in which to train. Children began training early with the spear and gradually worked their way up to different weapons. They trained with air fans even though none could fly. The boys were shaven bald until they reached a certain level of combat, as well as a certain age. At 15 summers, they had a ceremony of manhood and accomplishment. If they could not pass every test of every weapon, they would have to wait another year. After they became regarded as a warrior, they were allowed to grow their hair into dreadlocks. As each man moved up in ranking, they would add special beads to their hair and golden bracelets to identify their ranking among the warriors. When going to battle, each level of warrior had a different pattern of face paint. Only the Drakens understood these markings. Women were not allowed to use weapons in Zarine's rule, but Winter had changed this rule and made the women train as well. In the past, women only cared for the home and family. Drakens being very traditional, this was still mostly true. Winter wanted the women to be able to fight and to protect the men and children if needed. He was a very wise king. Cheyenne sat with her daughter. They were done with their words, and now they waited. They heard the shield reinforce. Winter entered. They heard the shield drop and reinforce again. He strode towards his girls. He had a rare look of anger on his brow when he saw Autumn. He lifted her chin with his finger and looked her in the eye. Very bad girl. Your stupid emotions. They will kill us and everything will be ruined. But I love him as you love Mother. It's not the same. Yes, it is. Cheyenne is my wife, not my enemy. She's kept the scepter safe all of this time from them. You must marry a Draken and stay here where we are protected. No, you're not one to talk, Father. You fell in love instantly in Elkstaff. You saw that beautiful angel come down from the sky and you were lost in her. You had all of those wimps beat from the beginning, even before the 7 ships departed. You had her before you even rescued her. Before she even saw you, you had her. You have studied us well, I see. I'm getting angry now, Winter warned. You're getting angry because I'm talking about your emotions, and you hate doing that most of all. You used your mind powers to make me forget Zach? Cheyenne asked. I used my love upon you to make you forget him. I erased nothing. I showed you what you needed. Did you lie to me about him, Winter? Would he have honored me? Did he love me enough and you stopped it by taking my confidence away for yourself? Did you steal me from your greatest threat? Surprisingly, the one that can beat your power, too? The one who threatens your throne? You will tell me the truth, Cheyenne pressed, but she could never rule him if he didn't allow it. He didn't. He was already furious, and he was never furious. You took my scepter and flew to Duran. You betrayed me and almost gave it to him. You had me programmed for no reason. You didn't even need my power then. You crammed many summers of training into my mind in seconds. I'm sorry, but they made you and our children spirits of the seasons. The Aztrax would have killed everyone. I loved you already and I almost had to kill you twice. Do you know what that feels like? Yes, I do, Autumn cried. But the tension in the room eased up because Zin came in laughing. They all stopped. They were all frightened because Zin never laughed. What's wrong, Zin? Winter asked. Damn Falconberry King caught me in a trap. It was hilarious. I can't believe I fell for that. I didn't hear or see anyone. I'm glad that wasn't Ezra's trap. I can beat them all with my mind and my technology, and he fools me in a stupid easy one. That is funny, Winter smiled. So Spring got sprung, Autumn added. She hadn't used the joke in a long time, but Zin hated being called Spring. I hate EZRAH, he sent to her mind without talking, and she stopped smiling. That king is very strong. I read him. He's tricky, too, a good ally. We need some more of those traps. If I can fall for it, those idiots will for sure. Did he see you? Yes, my nano cloak fell off, but he doesn't remember. Have you seen EZRAH? Winter inquired. Leave him alone. I erased everything about the scepter and the boundaries from his mind. He's not a threat anymore. He walked through the grove and ruined your mercy. That shithead tried to take the eye, so I stabbed him. No! Then he beat the boundaries and almost got the scepter for Elacius. Elacius, Duran is dead. Zin! Don't tell her things I must erase. Winter quickly erased it. Zin felt bad for his mother. It was his own fault, too. You killed EZRAH? Autumn whispered. It was only a matter of time, and she knew it. He came for the scepter. He beat the boundaries. No! Autumn began to cry and fell to her knees. She could not hide her emotions. Zin smiled, and he never smiled either. I erased him with the scepter. What? Autumn yelled. You did what? Why would you do that for me? Why would you ever do that for me? I can tell your heart is true. Sometimes I read you so that I can feel the things you feel. We are twins, EZRAH. I have no emotions. I am a bred killer. I am an assassin. That is my mission. I don't feel any of those things you feel. This family must stay hidden. I am cold and taut like the bowstring. I am smarter than everyone, but how will I gain a wife of emotion that I need when I have none to give myself? It seems to me that women are more interested in the louder emotional types, even if they are as dumb as a rock. You can have any woman in the kingdom, Zin. I would let you bring a feather here if you prefer, Winter confirmed. I don't want one. I want an EZRAH. You cannot! I don't have emotions, Father. You wanted it that way so that I could rule smarter than you. You gave it all to Autumn instead. You gave her the heart and gave me the whole. I want to know what happens. I want to know what a Draken EZRAH quint breed would make. It's a scientific experiment and I need to know. Son, you are as dumb as a rock. Don't even try it or they will kill you before you ever gain the throne from me. I need you to rule the lands. It's forbidden for any race to mate with EZRAHs. That is our rule. The spirits before us created it, and we shall not break it. But you did, Father. You broke the rules too, and now we can love mortals. That rule is gone now. Erasing EZRAH isn't good enough. Yes, it is. We don't have to kill him anymore. His father, yes. Him, no. Wrong. You forgot the gift of non-magic, the gift of nature. The same thing you forgot when you walked into Falconberry's trap. A dumb trap for a dumb rock, Winter scolded. Autumn laughed. Zin was the slickest man in Havenbell, and Winter never cracked jokes. He doesn't need magic to fly. He doesn't need magic to throw fans or blades. He can still get magic from the flowers, but that's all. If he gets the scepter and dies, we are still in danger. I hope he never drinks the brew. Father, he is excellent with the blade. Which ones? EZRAH. I fought him by the boundaries. I wanted to know his skills, so I tested him. I took it easy on him at first, but I had to use my full skill, a lot. He almost killed me 5 times. I used my mind to stop him. I even tried to kill him too. He blocked all of my shots. Bad news. Oh, I stole this from Falconberry. I haven't the slightest idea what it's for. Zin held up the fairy potion. EZRAH had lost all of his power and he knew it. He needed to talk to the council. He didn't know if it was a spell or reversible. He knew the minute the scepter touched him, everything changed. Now he couldn't save Autumn. The boys had nothing to gain from him, which was good, he guessed. The Draken shouldn't take his mother now unless they kill his father. His father still had the power to challenge the king, and maybe his father was right. Maybe Elacius was screwed. Not because of his mind ability, but because he had no wings. He couldn't fly, and he was not an owl shapeshifter. EZRAH flew to Josephara to speak to Trillium. EZRAH, you must not chase the king, Phariseph told him. I know, I can't anyway. I lost all of my powers. Trillium and Phariseph scanned him. He was an open book. He was powerless. How? The scepter stole them from me, he said sadly. That's a good thing, EZRAH. You're too valuable. Are you working for Zephyr? What is he doing? I'm not working for Zephyr or Lox. They can't use me now, but I also can't save Autumn. How in the world can I save her now? How do you know Autumn, EZRAH? Where is she? They've stolen all of the drake and feathers so that I would bring them the eye and the scepter. How did you find out about the scepter? We've been hiding that knowledge from both of you for a long time. Was it Zephyr? The grove. My father went in too. He's missing Cheyenne and he's mad at the king. I lost my powers. I can't take the throne like he wants. But he can, EZRAH. He can.